Hi everyone, I'm Moody Boo and I am back with another top 10 video. This one is on first date nights. Now I was thinking of the criteria for a first date night perfume. And one of the things that I thought would be appropriate would be it would not be a beast mode perfume. But at the same time, you wouldn't want a skin scent, because you want to keep them in a certain range. So you don't want to push them all the way away, because they might be somebody you want in your life for a long period of time. And you also don't want a skin scent to where that draws them in, invading your personal space when you barely know them. So it took me a long time to do this, but I wanted to pick some perfumes that I would love to either wear or have somebody wear on a first date kind of scenario. And these are more nighttime perfumes, even though some of them are very appropriate for day. I just went with the night theme, more romantic, I guess. Anyway, I broke them up into 5 different categories. So there's 2 perfumes for each category. Now that doesn't mean that they're a male and a female perfume. You know, I don't believe in all of that blah, 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 label bullshit. So these are just perfumes that I love that I would wear on a first date, or I would prefer for somebody to wear for me on a first date. And the categories are, I have 2 animalic and 2 gourmands, 2 woody, 2 resinous, and 2 floral. Now I didn't bother with the 2 fruity, having a fruity category, because that's, to me, fruity perfumes, a lot of them, there are some, but a lot of them are not really something I would wear on a first date, or I'd want somebody to be smelling like on a first date. That's more a second, third date where you're getting more lighthearted, you're having more fun together, you're knowing each other a little bit more. That's when I think a fruity perfume is a little more appropriate. And I'm just making shit up. I just want you to know that. There is no guidelines whatsoever. There's no rules. You do what you want. Use your nose. Do your own thing. I'm just saying for my own personal guidelines or whatever. Anyway, so we'll just start with the 2 animalic. Now I'm also going to do... what do they say it is? The 5th date, 7th date, 10th date? I don't know. I've been out of the game for so long. Where you finally get to unwrap your Christmas present and start playing with it. And then when you get to have sex is like 5th, 7th, 10th, somewhere in there. So I want to do a list for that too, because those are going to be much sexier perfumes. That's the ones that you definitely want to draw them in, seduce them, and then jump their bones. So, but this is more, this is, you know, unless you're, you know, easy peasy chicken dinner, you like to get it on the first date, then by all means, wait for that next list. But I think a lot of people kind of would rather wait and kind of know somebody a little bit to make sure they're not some serial killer or asshole. So anyway, these are just safe kind of perfumes. I also, that's another criteria, I didn't want any big, super heavy niche kind of perfume. Something more, some of them take a little risk, but not too much, because you, again, don't want to repel anybody. You want to draw them in, but not too close. So that was kind of my criteria for these perfumes. All right, first up is animalic. Now, the animalic note, one of the animalic notes that I chose for first date night was leather, because that's pretty safe, as long as you don't have a, you know, I'm not sure if a Tower Lone Star kind of a perfume would be appropriate for a first date. But so I wanted something a little more subdued leather, and I don't have a full bottle. I just have a decant. So for this one, I picked Tom Ford White Suede. And this, the Sillage, is not a skin scent, but it's certainly not beast mode. So it's polite. So if you went to a restaurant, you're not offending the people sitting behind you at the table next to you. You're not overpowering your potential future fuck buddy. And you're not offending a waiter or waitress or wait person, or anything like that. So this is a beautiful perfume. It's just leather, musk. There's some lily of the valley, saffron, sandalwood. There's some other florals, a little bit of olibanum. There's some amber. I think there's some tea. And it's, for me though, it's just a soft, very slightly sweet suede leather. It's really a pretty perfume, but it is not beast mode. So you could totally pull it off on a date night, and I would be very attracted to somebody wearing white suede. All right, the next one. Oh, did I say performance isn't great on this? This one only lasts about 5-6 hours on me. I've been wearing it quite a bit. Well, I did wear it quite a bit a few weeks ago, and it didn't last real well in the cooler weather. But I wear this in warmer weather too. And it does much better. It projects more, but it doesn't necessarily last longer. So next up. The next one I picked was from Victoria Mina, and that's Eau de Hongrie. Now I have not worn this much lately because this is another rediscovery. I had a really decent sized decant that I think I still have a very small amount in the bottom of it yet, so I haven't even really touched this. So, because the other animalic note I chose was honey. So this Victoria Mina has honey, and it's got tokaji wine, some jasmine, some immortal tonka sandalwood. There's a little bit of clove in there, musk, some citruses, some labdanum. This is so pretty. It's gorgeous. It's not a heavy animalic kind of. There's a hint of animal in the background, a hint of that earthy mammalian kind of a smell, but it's really in the background. This honey is not carnal. This is sweet, and that wine just makes it just slightly fizzy. Not too much, not like champagne kind of fizzy, but it just makes it a little bit lighthearted and a little bit bubbly, because honey can be really heavy, really dense, really thick. And then the florals, they just add a little bit of dimension and sweetness to it. I don't get a lot of tonka, clove, and sandalwood, and musk and labdanum until the deep dry down. And it's only really got 2 stages. It's got the very sweet gourmand top, and then it's got a more earthy, woody kind of a base. But that sweetness in the honey stays throughout. It does have a slight booziness to it, but it's so slight that I would not consider this a boozy perfume. Oh, it's so pretty. And the projection on this for, 10 minutes is arm's length, maybe a little more, but then it comes a little closer without being a skin scent. It does go to a skin scent within a few hours, but I figure by then you're already done with dinner, and you're already deciding whether this person is worthy of spraying another blast of this if you have a decant, or don't waste your time and just let it dry down, become a skin scent, and if they try to sniff you too close, smack them across the head. That's what I do. I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, this is gorgeous. Victoria Mina, hedonist, and now this Eau de Hongrie that I just rediscovered. Amazing. And then I do love the hedonist absolute too. So I may end up with that one as well. And yeah. Is that it? All right. Next category. The next category are gourmands. And again, I have 2. The first one is a brand new discovery. I just got a tiny decant of this like week and a half ago. And this is from a new favorite house. I've tried 2 from the house, Amber Kandahar, and then this one. And this is Jardins des Mispa. by Une Nuit Nomade. So this one is dates and rose and almond and saffron and cardamom. And there's some other kind of gourmandy spices in there. But it is all about the dates and the rose for the first hour and a half, 2 hours easy. The almonds just add a little bit of dryness to it because that first hour and a half, 2 hours, it is a juicy, drippy date. And the rose is in the background, but it just adds this creamy floralness to the dates, which is stunning. It's so pretty, but it's not a bee smoke kind of perfume. 1 or 2 sprays within a half an hour, it's within arm's length, and it's never so sweet and so gourmand or so floral that it's overpowering. It's not that at all. It's this beautiful, it's kind of a sweet, delicious, slightly floral perfume, and it's stunning. I'm telling you, that date note, that sweet date note, there's also a little hint of tanginess to it, to where it never gets too cloying at any stage of it. And once it dries down a little bit, it butches up a little bit too. This stuff lasts on me. I only have been doing like 1 spray, and it lasts easily 6 to 7 hours, I would say. And it never becomes a skin scent. It does get closer after an hour and a half, 2 hours, somewhere in there. I will be getting a full bottle of this. This is a future purchase, along with the Big Brother Amber Kandahar. Whew. And the prices are really good on these. Oh my God. All right, next up. The next gourmand that I chose for this list is by Rappin, and that's 1270. This is so pretty. It's like a fruity, boozy, butter rum lifesaver. But when it dries down, you do get a little bit of woods and a little bit of nuttiness, just slightly. There isn't a big trajectory with this one, in my opinion. It starts off really delicious, and then it still stays delicious, but it gets a little more earthy, a little more woodsy, a little spicier. Oh, man, this is pretty stuff. Now, always my only complaint with this perfume has been performance, because when I find a perfume that I love this much, this kind of aroma, I want it to project, because I want to smell it all day. I don't want to have to smell my arm or do this or whatever to smell it. I want to be able to smell it. That doesn't mean that it has to be beast mode, but I like a good projector. And it doesn't even have to last more than 5-6 hours. I'm happy to reapply. Just be a good projector. And this one is not. It gets pretty close after about 30 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes, and it gets within elbow's length. It does become a skin scent, but again, that takes a couple hours in order for that to happen. So this is pineapple and dried fruits and honey and plum and resin and vanilla and cocoa and woods and tonka, and there's some fruits in there and some nuts and coffee and some florals, and gorgeous. It's so good and very unisex. Do not let all the fruits, the honey, the plums, and all of that spook you, because this is 100% unisex. Oh my God, it's so good. All right, next. So the next category is woody. And again, there's 2 perfumes in that one. The first one that I chose is by Hermes, and that's Santal Masoya. This stuff is so good. I don't have a big bottle. I bought a bunch of these little travel sizes because you have to reapply this often. It does not last more than about 3 hours, maybe 4, probably closer to 3. And it projects for about an hour, about arm's length, and then it comes in within elbow's length the next hour, and then it becomes a skin scent pretty much. But it's beautiful. It's beautiful. This is sandalwood and milk and masoya and dried fruits and sugar, and there's some floral notes in there. I don't get the floral notes. And I think the sugar just adds just a hint of sweetness to it, but it's not super sweet. It's a creamy, milky, slightly sweet sandalwood perfume. Oh, it's beautiful. It's one of my favorite Hermès. It is right up there with Elixir de Merveille and Amber Narguilé. It really is. If it lasted longer and performed a little better. Come on, you little monkey, perform for me, perform for me. Holy crap. I just don't get it. Make it a little more concentrated. Anyway, Santal Masoya would absolutely be a desert island perfume if it performed better. It's gorgeous. And there's a slight tartness to it, a slight brightness to it. Like there's some citrus in there, even though on Fragrantica that is not listed. But I could see there being a little bit of lemon or something like that in there just to add it a little bit of brightness to it, because it's very creamy. Very milky, kind of a sweet sandalwood. It's gorgeous. Love. All right, next up. The next one. Is a favorite. And it is a desert island perfume. And that's by Map of the Heart, and this is Gold Heart. Ba-bum, ba-bum, ba-bum. Except for this one makes it go ba-bum, bum. Ba-bum. I skip a beat when I smell it. It's so pretty. This is saffron and pepper and milk and woody notes and cardamom, and you get all of it. But this is just a spicy, milky, woody, gorgeous perfume. I now have all but Black Heart. So I'm going to be doing a house review, and I'll probably end up with Black Heart at some point too, because I love it. I'm just like, holy shit, I bought 6 of the 7 out of the line. So, but this is the one that started it all. It is stunning. Now, this one performs much better than Santal Masoya does. This one easily is arm's length and will last 6, 8, 10 hours, just depending. And it doesn't get real close to the body at any stage. It gets within about elbow's length and stays there before it really shrinks into you. Can't wait to do this review on this house. This is another favorite house. It is absolutely incredible. Total unisex. And I love the bottles. As a nurse having an anatomical heart, are you freaking kidding me? Love it. All right, next category. So the first one I thought would be a really good first date night perfume in the resin category. It's by Lullaby, and that's Labdanum 18. I have this. I have the travel size of it. I have the oil. I have a decant. I wanted to make sure this could come with me wherever I went. In any way, shape, or form it came in. I love it. I don't have the solid, but I'll probably end up with that too. This one is a compliment getter. From men and from women, for me anyway. But yet it's not a beast mode kind of perfume. It's beautiful, very rich. So this is labdanum and vanilla and musk and civet and resins and tonka and castoreum and patchouli and cinnamon and some woody notes. You wouldn't think it by looking at the notes. But this starts off very clean, smelling kind of animalic labdanum aroma. I know, a clean animalic, that sounds weird, but that's what it is. And as it dries down and warms up, and the woody notes and the sweetness comes in, and some of that tonka comes in, oh, that is my favorite stage of this perfume. I enjoy the top. It's slightly sweet, like I said, clean, animalic kind of labdanum. But when it warms up and dries down, it gets a little sweeter. The animalic note becomes less clean smelling, a little more dirty. but not too much. It's not like some of my others. It's not like Sexual Healing, that kind of naughty. It's just a, just a tease of naughty. It's beautiful. But again, this is not a huge projector. I mean, I guess if you blast yourself with 8, 10 sprays and then go out in the hot weather, yeah, it's probably going to be kind of beastly. But overall, this is a very polite, slightly sexy, slightly clean smelling, beautiful perfume. All right, next up. The next one I chose was by Hugo Boss, and this is Velvet Amber. This is so pretty. This is another rediscovery. This is just resins, amber, and vanilla. It's very simple, but again, it's not too niche, not too mainstream either, because I wouldn't want something everybody else is wearing. You want to stand out to your date, especially if it's a first date, but you don't want to scare them away. And this will absolutely attract and not reject. This is just a slightly spicy, sweet amber. It's very simple, but it isn't beastly. It does start off that way when I do 2 sprays. It can be a little past arm's length for half an hour, 20 minutes, something like that. But then it comes within arm's length. And that's my favorite part of the whole perfume, because it's warm, slightly spicy. It's sweet without being cloying. It's very unisex, and I adore it. It's a very nice, almost slightly clean smelling too, which is always nice for a first date night kind of perfume. All right, next up, last category, florals. So the first one that I chose was Sunshine Woman by Amouage, and disregard the woman part. Any guy that's put their nose on this knows that this is totally unisex. Should be no designation on it at all. It's osmanthus and almond and vanilla, and there's some florals and berries and woods and green note, a little patchouli, little white florals. But honestly, for me, it's this beautiful, sweet, almondy osmanthus. That's the main thing that I get. And this is pretty linear for me. There isn't a huge dry down. When it does dry down, you get a little more of the green, a little more woodies, but it's still, I think, the vanilla, the osmanthus, and the almond stay in there throughout the wearing. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's not too sweet. It's not too sensual. It's just a beautiful first date night kind of perfume. And performance is, I usually do 1 spray if I'm going to be in a crowded area, 2 sprays if it's just my husband and I. So use your own nose, use your own judgment, but it's an Amouage, so it can be a big projector if you're not careful. All right, last up, what the hell kind of list would this be if I didn't add a Hilde Soliani into the mix? Oh. And this is Tiamo Iris, one of my favorite iris perfumes. It's a sweet iris. And it's a slightly playful iris. Iris can take itself way too seriously sometimes and become too powdery, too serious, too almost in your face. And this one calls BS to all of that. It's iris and almond and orris root, and there's some musk and some white florals and a little bit of spice and some sandalwood and vetiver. But honestly, this is just a sweet, almost candied iris for me. But it's still unisex. Don't let the candied part freak you out, guys. This totally could be worn by a guy. I would love to smell this on a man. It's so pretty because that sweetness is mostly at the top, and then once it does dry down, like I said, you do get more of the woods, a little bit of spice, and some vetiver. Oh. And there is a hint of cleanness to this too, just a hint. Not Lily of the Valley kind of soapy, but this is just a hint of, you put a little perfume on after you got out of the shower kind of thing. And it's polite. So 2 sprays on me. This doesn't get past arm's length ever. And it's usually around elbow's length, maybe between elbow and hand. And it lasts about 6 hours for me. And I wear it year round too. It does perform better in warm weather though. All right, so that's my top 10 perfumes for a first date night. And anyway, I'll come back with a list on that 7th date night where things get serious and get naked. All right, everybody, use your own nose, stay well, and I'll see you soon. Peace.